Welcome! On today's episode, Dr. Reay will describe what is the necessary evidence that is required to make a finding that parental alienation is the primary cause of a child's disaffection from a parent. So let's get started.
The five-factor model is a scientifically reliable tool for determining whether alienation is the primary cause of a child's rejection of one parent and alignment with the other. The five-factor model includes the following criteria. The first factor is inherent in the definition of parental alienation. That is, the child is refusing or resisting a relationship with the rejected parent. Therefore, the basic premise of parental alienation is that the child is manifesting contact refusal. There are several causes of contact refusal, and thus it's necessary to collect additional evidence to determine whether the cause in a particular case is genuinely parental alienation or some other issue within the child or the family. Other causes of contact refusal include the following differential diagnosis: a normal, understandable preference the child might have for one parent over the other; loyalty conflict, when the child attempts to love both parents, avoiding a loyalty conflict by gravitating to one parent and shunning the other; being worried or depressed, such as experiencing separation anxiety; being overly stubborn or oppositional; estrangement due to previous maltreatment; accidental indoctrination of child against a parent, leading to PA; purposeful indoctrination leading to PA; and shared delusional disorder. The level of contact refusal might be partial or complete. Partial refusal might involve agreeing to visit the rejected parent, but resisting attempts on the part of the parent for communication, affection, and interaction. In these situations, the child may be physically present, but not emotionally present. The second factor is that the child and the now rejected parent previously enjoyed a healthy, positive, loving, mutually agreeable relationship. This factor requires that the now rejected parent was an involved and loving parent prior to this occurring, and even if imperfect, as all parents are. This factor dates back to the writings of Richard Gardner in 1998, whereby he said, quote, "I am referring here only to those who have been good, dedicated parents," end quote. The preferred parent and the child may claim that the rejected parent never had a good relationship with the child. And it's certainly been my experience that this is a common refrain from alienated children and their favored parents. Nonetheless, it is usually fairly easy for the rejected parent to show that factor 2 is found in their family. There may be photographs and videos showing the parent and child being affectionate with each other. There may be affidavits from neutral third parties, such as teachers, neighbors, physicians, and religious leaders who attest to the fact that the parent was involved in their child's life and that the parent and child had a positive attachment to each other. There is a rare exception to the requirement for factor 2. Suppose that the preferred parent took control of the child during their infancy, totally preventing the rejected parent from forming a meaningful relationship with the child from the beginning. In such a situation, it may still be concluded that the preferred parent has used alienating behaviors to prevent the rejected parent from ever having a positive prior relationship. Factor 3 involves the absence of abuse, neglect, or markedly deficient parenting on the part of the now rejected parent. Evidence of this factor is usually obtained through the findings of police and child protection reports. When there is a finding that the now rejected parent has a history of engaging in child physical abuse, significant substance abuse or dependence, child neglect or abandonment, then it can be argued that the child's resistance to that parent is plausible. It would be considered a case of realistic estrangement and not parental alienation. However, it's also plausible that there may be situations in which a past history of abuse is consistent with a current diagnosis of parental alienation. For example, let's consider that a parent abused a child several years previously, engaged in treatment, and subsequently this parent and child enjoyed a good, healthy, and mutually enjoyable relationship. Then it's possible that the favored parent repeatedly reminded the child of the history of abuse and used that information to undermine the child's relationship with the now rejected parent. Parental alienation is the rejection of a parent without legitimate justification, and realistic estrangement is the rejection of a parent for a good reason. Children rarely reject a parent, even an abusive parent. In the absence of bona fide abuse or neglect, when a child strongly aligns with one parent and emphatically rejects the other, that pattern strongly suggests alienation, not estrangement. Parental alienation is the most highly counterintuitive condition in the legal and mental health fields. As such, many professionals get it wrong or even backwards. Therefore, it's important to note that child protection workers, police officers, and other professionals that tend to get involved in these types of high conflict family disputes may not provide accurate reporting. Unfortunately, they do not know how to differentiate an abused child from an alienated child. When the latter occurs, the now rejected parent should rely on trusted, neutral third parties, teachers, coaches, religious leaders, physicians, next-door neighbors, close friends, relatives, or others, to provide written affidavits containing statements contrary to the prior inaccurate reported findings. Further, the now rejected parent who has been falsely accused of child abuse, neglect, or markedly deficient parenting should contact a parental alienation specialist for help. The best way to select an expert in parental alienation is to search online for the Parental Alienation Study Group, PASG, at https://pasg.info. Factor 4 requires that the preferred parent has manifested several of the 17 common alienating behaviors that has been empirically observed in parental alienation cases. Number 1, bad-mouthing involves making negative statements regarding the rejected parent. Number 2, limiting contact means that the child is incrementally cut off from the rejected parent. Number 3, interfering with communication refers to the favored parents interrupting or deleting telephone calls, text messages, and emails between the child and the rejected parent. Number 4, limiting mention of the rejected parent and suppressing photographs of that parent. Number 5, withholding love and approval when the child shows positive affection or even interest in the rejected parent. Number 6, telling the child that the rejected parent does not love them. Number 7, allowing or forcing the child to choose between their parent. For example, allowing the child to decide whether to visit the rejected parent. Number 8, creating the impression that the rejected parent is dangerous. Number 9, forcing the child to reject the rejected parent. Number 10, confiding in the child about adult issues and topics such as sharing confidences is a way to encourage enmeshment with the preferred parent. Number 11, asking the child to spy on the rejected parent. Number 12, asking the child to keep secrets from the rejected parent. Number 13, referring to the rejected parent by their first name. Number 14, referring to a step-parent or significant other as mom or dad and encouraging the child to do the same. Number 15, withholding medical, social, or academic information from the rejected parent and keeping the rejected parent's name off such records. Number 16, changing the child's name to remove association with the rejected parent. Number 17, undermining the authority of the rejected parent, which causes the child to disrespect the rejected parent. Factor 5 requires that the child who is engaging in contact refusal has manifested some or all of the common behavioral symptoms of parental alienation. Number 1. The child aligns with the favored parent in a campaign of denigration and hatred against the targeted parent, with the child making active contributions. Number 2. Rationalizations for denigrating the targeted parent are often weak, frivolous, or absurd. Number 3. There seems to be no ambivalence in the child's feelings towards the target parent. Thus, animosity toward the targeted parent is demonstrably severe. Number 4. The child states that the decisions to reject the targeted parent are the child's own. This is often referred to as the independent thinker phenomenon. Number 5. There is an automatic reflexive support by the child for the alienating parent. Number 6. The child expresses a guiltless disregard for the feelings of the alienated parent. Number 7. The child borrows from various subject matter and jargon of the alienating parent. Therefore, the child's denigration of the target parent has a distinct, rehearsed quality. Number 8. The child's animosity extends to the alienated parent's extended family, friends, and sometimes even pets.
Wow! Dr. Reay, I really value and appreciate your thoroughness. You've described in great detail the necessary evidence that is required to make a finding that alienation is the primary cause of a child's disaffection from a parent. You've truly pointed parents and professionals in the right direction regarding handling this horrific form of child abuse. Next, I understand 3 parents are about to share their own personal experiences of alienation. In doing so, our viewers will likely be able to see which aspects of the 5-factor model are present in each of their cases.
I haven't been able to see my 6-year-old for a year. She phoned me out of the blue the other day. She was very argumentative and rude. I couldn't believe it was the same child. She also described never wanting to see me. She even told me I should move out of town. There was no use me staying here. She suggested I move to Cambodia. Do many 6-year-olds know where Cambodia is?
My 7-year-old daughter says she remembers me spanking her hard on her bottom when she was 1. She said she had bruises on her bum and it hurt for 2 days. She also said I used to freak out a lot. I attempted to tell her those accusations were not true. I told her how much I love her and said I'd never freaked out nor spanked her. Instead, I have always done my best to talk gently and calmly. I also said she was given timeouts when necessary. Her response was, "Liar, liar, pants on fire." She also said she knows I make $145,000 a year and should be paying mommy some child support. Just before the end of our short call, my daughter told me another reason that I'm a bad daddy is because I bought her an ice cream cone right after the last ballet lesson I took her to. She said I shouldn't have done that because it was too close to dinner time.
2 days after my last phone call with both children, I got an unexpected visit from a social worker from a local child welfare agency because my ex reported that I had gone out of my mind with erratic and outlandish behavior and had threatened her with physical violence. She told them that she was in great fear of our daughter's safety if they were in my care. She also filed legal papers and got a temporary restraining order for 3 weeks while child welfare did an assessment. Her allegations were proven false, but she still tells people in our community that I'm a threat to our children and she wants permanent sole custody. Even though there's no longer a restraining order, she's done everything possible to keep me away from the children. Our oldest daughter's school won't even let me be involved in her education or events. I'm completely at my wit's end, but plan to contact a PA specialist through the PASG online. I will do whatever it takes to help my girls.
Don't miss episode 3. Dr. Kathleen Reay helps rejected parents deal with the incredible emotional roller coaster ride that occurs throughout the alienation process. And, if you haven't already, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. See you next time.